Any questions for Coach Brown? Let's start with Justin.
How do you think the defense responded tonight?
I thought they responded really well. Held them to 10 points, shut them out in the second half. I thought I was really excited about that. Held them to a field goal there after they got some good field position. So I was encouraged by it.
Looking at both games on both sides of the ball, what do you think?
You're the two-question guy.
Sorry.
You're the two-question guy. Okay, go ahead.
But last game, offense was great tonight.
Yeah, we got to put it together, huh? And that's what I would say. You know what I mean? Like, we kind of had to struggle finding rhythm offensively tonight, which is something we'll go to work on. I was really happy with the response, especially coming out of halftime. When we're down 10-6, I think, and we came out, we got a stop, and then we got a score, so there's a lot of good stuff like that. And then I think the score, and then we got another stop, and then I think we didn't get it down there that far, and then we punted and we downed it. So there's some good team football, something in that sequence there. I think I give credit to Northern Arizona. I thought those players played their butts off, and I thought their coach did a great job.
Jason and Michael.
The offensive line looked different tonight than what we saw last week. What can you tell us about how it looked, and then just in general the performance?
We had a couple guys that we had to get in there because a couple guys were unavailable, and so I think we need to evaluate on film and see how it looked and see if there's anything we can do schematically or formationally that gives us a better chance to find some rhythm. I also thought they did some good stuff. We made some plays, we popped some runs when we needed to. We had some good pass protection and hit some throws, but I think the consistency wasn't what we'd like it to be.
Michael and Brian.
You guys were 0 for 10 on third down in this game. What do you think?
Oh my goodness, I didn't know it was that bad. Oh, that hurts. Obviously, we're going to have trouble beating anybody if we're that. So that's something that we have to go to work on.
Brian.
So NAU had a much different game plan than New Mexico as far as defending T-Mac, and we got a couple targets, a couple catches. Mm-hmm. How do you feel it was as far as spreading the ball around, both for the receivers and for Noah looking for other guys?
I think that's a combination of both things. I think that's a combination of our ability or inability to consistently protect, and then also giving Noah a chance to distribute the ball as much as he needed to. So like I mentioned earlier, I think NAU did a good job of what they did schematically, and we've got to go back to work. It's game 2, and I'm happy as hell. We're 2-0, and we've got a big football game Friday night in a short week. So we've got a lot of stuff to figure out in a short window.
Gentlemen in the red polo back row.
So for these last 2 games, you combined for almost 20 penalties altogether. What are you trying to do during a short week to clean that up?
That you are absolutely right. I was pleased that the penalties tonight were a little more football penalties and not of the variety that they were last week, which to me were kind of discipline penalties. We had the one late hit on the quarterback. Sometimes those get tricky. You're trying to get there, but there was way too much of that. And I think that what we're going to learn, and hopefully not the hard way, is that we have to play football the right way, or it's going to cost us an opportunity or cost us a game. And those lessons are hard to learn, but it's good to learn them when you win.
Jenna Fink in the back.
What did you tell your offense at halftime, and also what did you make of Pedro Prisco's session?
Say the last part.
What did you make of Pedro Prisco's touchdown, and also just
I was so happy for him. It's his first college touchdown, and that was just fantastic. And I thought he did a really nice job. He had some nice runs. He ran hard. I think he gave us something in the second half. We got going a little bit, and to see his big body turn the corner and outrun everybody was awesome. And then offensively, I think the biggest thing that we've been emphasizing all week is just doing your job and being really focused on the details of that, and not trying to play outside the framework of that just because we didn't get a first down or just because we didn't score every time we touched the ball. That part of it, that's football. They got guys on scholarship too. You know what I mean? So handling that the right way in the moment, that stop worrying about the score or stop worrying about the outcome and just play this play right here. Just do what you're supposed to do on this play right here and we'll be fine.
Justin in the front.
So among the players out was Jacory, and the ESPN broadcast said it was a clearing issue.
Yep.
What happened?
Well, so there was a concern raised about his eligibility, and so we're just being overcautious with that, and so we made that determination yesterday.
Gentleman on the right here.
With Jacory out, how important was it to have Conley in there and the way he led the running game?
No, it's great. I think Q. I have a lot of history with that young man, and he's just an awesome human being and an awesome player. And then you combine that with Speedy and Kedrick, and I think that it's a really good group. And so I was excited to see all of them kind of contribute tonight, and I think that seeing the confidence that Quality's playing with is really exciting.
Jason and Brian.
Noah seemed to be not a little uncharacteristic for him tonight. Do you think it was something NAU was doing, or what would you attribute that to?
That's a good question. I probably have to look at the film on that. It did seem, like the protection was a little less clean, and so I just got to look at what that was. Was he getting off his spot too much? Was he having to make some movements or some, before he can kind of settle in and make some throws? And so we'll look at that and get back to work. The kid's an awesome player. I'm not worried about Noah at all.
Brian and Michael.
What was your halftime message just overall to the team?
It was the kind of what I mentioned a minute ago about the offense. It was to the whole team, like, stop worrying about the scoreboard. Just play. And I think that's a hard thing for young people nowadays. Like, they're so outcome focused, and there's a process to winning a football game. And that's what we need to focus on. And that process is one play at a time. You don't win a game in the first quarter. You don't win a game in the second quarter, right? Like, you have to finish people and you have to close them out. And I think that was my biggest message at halftime was like, it's halftime. It's like my dad's favorite quote. He used to always tell me, nothing's less important than the score at halftime. So
Michael.
I told him that too.
Okay, 2 questions for you.
The double question, you only get one, Michael. I'm just kidding. What do you got?
So, what was the thought process behind putting Ryan Stewart in the starting lineup at tackle?
Because he just had a little bit more experience and just a little bit more steady. And I think Lotto's going to be a great player. He's just really young. You know what I mean? It's like he was at the senior prom 6 months ago. Even though he's a big man, he's still a young man, and so he's got he's developing. And there's a developmental process to getting good at college football.
And the other one, they brought a lot of guys up to the line, showed a lot of pressure looks from the outside. What were the discussions about what you guys were seeing and maybe like how to try to counter that?
Yeah, that was they'd done a little bit of that last week. It was hard to evaluate. We didn't know if they were going to choose to play T-Mac like that. We thought they would probably try and double him, which we got some of that, and so it was a little bit of cat and mouse game like that as the game went on. And we hit a couple throws, and then we missed a couple throws into that, and it's one-on-one throws. And if you catch it, it's a big play, and if you don't, you're punting.
Gentleman right here.
And McMillan coming off the historic game last week, what was NAU's defense able to do to just limit his touches?
Well, I think it's a combination of all the things I've already talked about, like the protection, the movement of Noah, some of that stuff. I think that part of it is something we have to evaluate. You know what I mean? They did push some coverage to him at times. They did a good job. They doubled him some. They bracketed him some. And so, giving us obviously we want to do everything we can to distribute the football so that people can't just lock in on him. But then he's also our best playmaker, and we got to give him a chance to make plays on the ball.
Last question to Brett in the back row.
Trayton talked about how when NAU was pinned deep after that punt, how the defense in those situations can kind of be licking their chops. And you talked earlier about the one play and kind of staying disciplined. How about from a coach's perspective, when you see just everything setting up in that moment to really take over the game with one play like that? How is that perspective for you and your assistant coaches, knowing that if you guys just do this one thing, the game is going to sort of flip on its axis?
It sounds so simple. Like one of the number one calls from down there is deep ball. Deep ball. And because you have a high probability of pass interference, or if you hit it, you're out of trouble. You know what I mean? So that's what I think about. I'm not necessarily like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, okay, what can happen here? Because after the penalty, they're so close. So if they run it, you do think you have a chance for a safety. You know what I mean? Because the penalty backed them up another half yard, right? But the thing that I typically worry about there is some kind of shot play, right? And they're just trying to give them a little breathing room, and Chuba and the D-line made a great play, and that was an awesome play in the game.